Hello, hello. Welcome back, or welcome if you are new. My name is Casey. So lately I had seen going around this trend for makeup products where it's you give your top 3 picks of each makeup category. Now, I might not have a huge makeup stash and be this makeup guru, but I have tried quite a bit of makeup products in the past, so I do have some type of idea of which products I think really stand out amongst the others. Also, some products I might not have physically with me, but I have tried them and I do think that they are great. So I will be mentioning them throughout the video. So if you see that I don't have that exact product, just know that I have tried that product out and I really do like it. But before we jump into the video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so that you guys won't miss any updates or videos that I do post. Anyways, now with all that out of the way, sit down, grab a snack, grab a drink, and get comfortable. So let's jump into the top 3 makeup items in each category. So the way we're going to go through all of the categories is in the order of which you apply makeup. So, of course, the first category that we're going to be going into is primers. So the first primer that I'm going to be mentioning is this My Skin Tinted Primer by Essence, and it is 20 Nude Beige. And I really like this one because it has a little bit of a tint, it is very affordable, and it does give me a little bit of coverage. So this is great if I don't really want to wear makeup that day. I just want a little bit of something on my face, and it does blur my pores, so that's also a great plus. So I do enjoy this one. And this next primer is the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. So this is obviously a cult favorite. It is a dupe of this Tatcha primer. This does a great job at filling in my pores, evening out any skin texture I might have, and also I find that it helps my makeup last a lot longer. This putty primer has definitely beaten so many other primers that I've tried, and it's been my top one. And when I run out of this, I will go back to using my Tatcha one until I'm pretty much done, and then I'll probably repurchase the e.l.f. one. And one that I actually don't have with me is the Too Faced Coconut Primer. That one I find just really hydrates my skin, blurs my skin a little bit. It's not like a pore filling primer, but I find that the hydration and everything that it brings makes my pores look a little bit better. So for that one, I really did enjoy how it made my skin look. It was moisturized, and also it didn't break me out because I have very sensitive skin. So those are the top 3 primers that I have tried out so far that I have really enjoyed. So depending on what kind of base I'm going to be wearing, I will put either concealers first or concealers after, but most of the time I end up putting concealers first. So for my concealers, I prefer good coverage, nothing too thick, but something that I'm able to blend out and that will brighten my complexion and cover up any of the dark circles that I do have, as well as little blemishes on my face. So I have my top 3 concealers right here. So I'm going to start off with the Catrice one. This is the Liquid Camouflage High Coverage Concealer, and this is the waterproof one. I love this because of how thin the formula is, and I find that, again, this is able to cover up my dark circles and my blemishes very well. It does last a long time. I've gotten my face covered in water. I've had it on all day, and this is really good. And I wear it in the color 05 Natural for a little bit lighter, and sometimes I'll use the 10 if I want to match it more to my skin tone, but I love the way that this looks on my skin. It blends in very nicely. Even if I don't have any base makeup on, this melts right into my skin, and it sometimes looks like I don't even have any makeup on. And actually what I've noticed for all of these concealers is they're all drugstore concealers, so they're also all affordable. The next one I'm going to be mentioning is the e.l.f. Hydro Camo Concealer with Satin Finish. I have tried the matte one and I do have it over there, but I found that sometimes it would cake up a little bit. You need very little. And while they both have amazing coverage, I find that I actually prefer this one a little bit better. It just works better with my skin. Amazing at coverage, blends out very well, sits on the face for a long time. There's nothing bad I can say about the e.l.f. concealers. They come in a huge range of color options as well. I think this is a great affordable option, and I actually really enjoy how big the doe foot applicator is on the wands for these guys. So I would say out of the 3 concealers I am mentioning, this one has the highest coverage. And the last one I'm going to be mentioning is one of my current favorites that I've been using every day, Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define Full Coverage Concealer. And so my favorite ones to use are C2 and C4. I love using C4 on just my bare face. If I just want a little bit of touch up, I just want to look a little bit fresh, I will use C4, and then this C2 shade is when I want to brighten my under eyes. This gives amazing coverage, again, blends out, and you can actually let it sit without it getting too cakey for a more fuller coverage. Usually, depending on my mood, I will switch up between the three, but lately I've been using this Makeup Revolution one, so yeah, those are my 3 favorite concealers. Let's move on next to the base makeup. So the base makeup is going to be a little bit more tricky, and I say this only because lately I've just been using concealer and letting my skin breathe. But for the options that I have that are meant for your full face, I do have 3 favorites here. The first one I'm going to mention is the Klairs Illuminating Supple Blemish Cream. This one is hydrating, and I wear this more for the winter time. This is just like a high coverage tinted BB cream. Again, this doesn't make my skin break out. This is in a lighter shade. Sometimes I do mix this with moisturizer, but I find that for the winter times when it's more dry and I need some more hydration to my skin, I will turn to BB creams, and this is the one I have been turning to more often lately. Next is an affordable one, but it is the Ordinary Serum Foundation, and I also have it in the higher coverage one. If I do want to go to something more high coverage and not a powder finish, I will be going towards the Ordinary. This doesn't break my skin out. It gives me amazing coverage for very little product as well, and it doesn't feel like I'm wearing a mask on my face. So the color that I use is 1.2 light neutral, and I do have another few shades again, depending on the seasons I will switch between, but I actually have grown to love this because of how thin the formula is. As for liquid, more foundation types, I really like the Ordinary. And for my final base recommendation is the Nude by Nature Powder Foundation. I'm wearing this today. It just gives my skin this beautiful hydrated look without really trying, and I find that this one actually makes my skin look better because of the natural minerals in here and the little vitamins that they say are in here. I use the shade W2 Ivory, and I have repurchased this powder foundation so many times. I even have a backup in here just in case, and I just love the way it gives me like this effortless finish. It looks like I'm wearing almost like a full coverage foundation, but I'm not. It is so easy. I just take a big fluffy brush and I just put it onto my face like it's nothing. It's super fast, good coverage, and it actually gets better throughout the day as my natural oils come through. It actually makes my skin look even better, and I've worn this, I would say, up to 12 hours. I would say this is going to be my #1 for like daily wear. This is like my absolute favorite. And even though it's not like a liquid foundation, this is a powder foundation that I always turn to. So if you are sensitive skin and you want some good coverage, I highly, highly recommend the Nude by Nature Powder Foundation. Next on the list would be powders. So I have both a pressed and a loose powder. Unfortunately, I don't have a third option. I haven't been able to find one that I really, really like. So I have the Physicians Formula Healthy Powder with SPF 16. This is just a pressed powder. I find that using this under the eyes really sets the concealer that I have. It blurs the pores and fills them in really nice, and this lasts all day without it being too cakey. So I usually focus this for under the eyes or around my T-zone if I just need to quickly blot. The next one I have is the Sacha Buttercup Setting Powder. This is in the yellow one. I've actually been very tempted to buy the skin color one, only because this powder is very fine, and I find that I could put a bunch and it just doesn't cake up. Again, doesn't break my skin out, and it lasts a long time. I've had this for, I would say, maybe 2 years now. I have heard really good things about the e.l.f. loose powders, so maybe one day I will try that out, but these are kind of the 2 that I've been using to set my face and my under eye. Also, sometimes I will put the Nude by Nature Powder Foundation under my eyes, but that's only like rarely, but still gives really good coverage, so thought I'd mention that. So next category is going to be more of contouring and bronzers. Again, I use just a few items here and there. If you've been watching my channel, you're going to see some very familiar products that I pretty much always use on my face. The Too Faced Chocolate Soleil Medium Deep Bronzer. So I use this just around my cheeks, on the sides, and again, I'm not a beauty guru that I'm like doing a full chiseled look and the powder and everything. This is just what I use to quickly warm up my face, contour a little bit on the sides of my cheeks, maybe on my forehead a little bit, and this is kind of like the main one that I use. I'm in a different mood and I want to try something out, or maybe my complexion's a little darker, a little lighter, I will reach for other options. So the other options that I do have are 2 palettes. So the first palette I will mention is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Contour Kit in light to medium. So it just has these 3 different darker shades on the bottom and some lighter shades on the top. I use this middle one here if I'm going to be contouring or warming up my face, and then if I'm darker, I will dip into these other ones, and sometimes I will also use these for eyeshadows, but don't tell anybody I told you that. So if I'm gonna reach for a palette, I will go for this middle shade in the Anastasia palette. And then surprisingly, I would go into my Kat Von D Shade and Light palette. And the reason why I say surprisingly is because I usually don't use Kat Von D products. I've had this for many, many years. I use the middle one here as well. Sometimes I will dip in mix between the 2 of these if I need to bronze up my face. Yet another option, I have tried this. It does work for my sensitive skin. Both of these palettes blend out very well. And yeah, so if I had to choose, I would say that these 3 are my go-tos, but the Too Faced Chocolate Soleil bronzer is probably my #1 choice when it comes to warming up or contouring my face. The next category is going to be the blush category. So for myself, again, I am a creature of habit. I usually stick to the same products. So if I'm going to be using a powder blush, I go for the Milani Romantic Rose in the shade #1. I've had this for so long, like I honestly know I need to throw some of these products out because of how long I've had them, and they're probably expired, but so far they haven't been breaking my skin out. I'm actually wearing this blush today on my face. It's just the perfect muted mauvey like blush that looks really good on my skin tone. So I lean towards more of a neutral olive skin tone. So I find that this works really well and looks beautiful on my face no matter what my complexion is. And I've been using this for years, and every time somebody asks me, I say, get the Milani one. It's really, really good. And again, Drugstore kills it every time. Love this blush. Next, if I'm going to be going more natural and I want more of a liquid blush, which I have been dipping into quite a bit, I will use the Physicians Formula Organic Wear Dewy Blush Elixir in the shade Gorgeous Peach. This gives me a nice highlight naturally on my face. I don't even have to really try. I use this and it's a very nice color. I would say it's a little bit more bright than the Milani blush, but this doesn't break my skin out. It gives it like this little hydrated look, and it gives me such a nice wash of color. So for my first liquid blush, I really, really like the Physicians Formula. And then the final one I will recommend is this Burt's Bees blush in the shade Toasted Cinnamon. I like to use this more in the fall time for my blush just right here. Or again, maybe I don't even want to contour or bronze up my face. Just put this really quickly on my face. And again, this just looks really, really nice on my complexion. And it's just really nice and quick to throw on, give some color to my face. And it's a little bit different than the typical colors that I go for, but I love the way that this blends into my skin, and it does last all day. It doesn't come off as easily as maybe some other powder blushes. So yeah, I really do enjoy this Burt's Bees one. Next, let's go into the brow category. Again, I am not a beauty guru that does like a full routine for my brows. I just use a little bit of product in my brows, just enough to shape it and so that it looks clean and nice, I guess. But I actually have 4 products only because I don't have a bunch for like the gel and the pencils. Like it's just kind of all in one. So I will mention first the pot products that I have. So it's a toss up between these 2. I have both of the Morphe little eyebrow pot in Java and the e.l.f. one in the medium brown. Out of the 2, I really like the color from the e.l.f. one. The pomade just really blends into my eyebrow color and it looks very, very natural. But I find that this one dries out a little bit if you don't use it up, but nothing that like an eyedropper doesn't fix the problem for. And I use for the Morphe one in the shade Java. I should probably try the taupe color from Morphe, but every time I go to try and pick it up, they're always sold out. But I really like the creaminess of this, and the color sits really well on my brows if I'm going to be using a pomade. These are like the favorite pomades that I've tried. And then for pencils, I've really been enjoying this e.l.f. Ultra Precise Brow Pencil in the shade taupe, I believe. And it's just a very precise brow product. It's very thin and it has a little spoolie on the other end. And I used it in my brows today. I just use a little bit on the bottom and I fill it in just a tiny bit. So right now, this is a affordable option that I've been using, and I'm probably gonna stick to because it looks really good. I really enjoy using it and it's very easy. So, and the fourth item, which is why I threw it in here, is this e.l.f. brow gel. It's in the shade Neutral Brown, and it's just this little brow cream so that I can keep my eyebrows in place because they tend to go a little buck wild and a little bit crazy. I will just use this and then use this e.l.f. Eyebrow pencil, and you're pretty much good to go, and I'm out the door. This is the last favorite from the eyebrow category. The next category is eyeliners, and again, I only have two options only because I'm somebody who sticks with the same items all the time. So for the two eyeliners I have here are the NYX That's the Point eyeliner. I actually prefer the brush one that they have. It's very, very black and glides very easy, but I found that these pen ones are also pretty good. The fine and the thicker ones work totally normal, but I find that the ones with the brush are a little bit darker and they last a little bit longer. NYX eyeliners are one of the most affordable ones that I've been able to find that withstand the most and last the longest and are the darkest. So I usually go for the NYX eyeliners. Then the other one that I have is the e.l.f. H2O Proof Eyeliner Pen. Again, it's an eyeliner pen. I'm actually wearing it on my eyes today. It lasts a good long time. It's very affordable, very, very dark. But out of the options I have, I really, really, really like the NYX ones. So these are my eyeliner recommendations. The next category I'm going to talk about is highlighters. So for highlighters, very, again, hit or miss for me. Usually I will just have a moisturizer on, and sometimes that'll give my skin like this natural dewy look, but I have been leaning towards certain highlighters lately. The one I have been leaning towards the most is this e.l.f. one, and it's in white gold. I've mentioned this in other videos, and I'm actually wearing it on my face today. This is just like a tiny bit on my face, and it looks really nice on my complexion. So this one I would say is my number one right now. So I also have two palettes that I really, really like the highlighters in them. They go on very buttery smooth, and they last all day and give me a very nice look to my skin. The first one is the Carli Bybel Deluxe Edition palette from BH Cosmetics. And I tend to dip my brush between the rose one and the gold one, and I'll mix them together and put on my face. Or if I'm a little bit more darker, I will use the gold one, but it just gives me this like beautiful wash of color on my face. This is like a palette I have had for so long, and I love it. And I'll probably never let go of this palette, so. And then the other palette that I have is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Glow Kit. And I use this shade Summer here and sometimes Moonstone. Again, I will mix these usually, but if not, I prefer the more goldy highlights on my face. This just gives a very seamless, beaming highlight on my face. I don't really have to do too much. It just goes on very nice, and I like the color on my complexion. So these are my top three for the highlighter category. We're almost done, guys. I promise. We're near the end. I'm trying to talk quick so I could fit all of this in. So if you see that I'm going like blah, 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 that's why. There's so many products, and I'm just trying to make sure this video isn't like an hour long. Now let's dip into the eyeshadow category. So lately I haven't been wearing too much eyeshadow. What's on my eyes you'll see from the Too Faced bronzer. I'll just kind of slap that one on really quick. But I do have some favorite palettes that I really love the colors and the way that I'm able to make a bunch of different looks out of them. And mind you, I have a lot of palettes. It just depends on my mood or if I want to have more color, but I find that these are great for like everyday and just the main ones I usually reach for if I am going to create any looks. So this is one I just mentioned. It's the Carli Bybel one. I just really like the colors, honestly. Like these are all some neutral colors, mauvey colors, and you have some shimmers, some mattes, and I'm able to create just amazing and cute neutral looks. And I've had this for so long. The color payoff is really nice. They blend out very nice. And this is a very classic palette. I feel like a lot of OG YouTubers really like this palette and have mentioned this palette. Honestly, I could probably just have this one palette for the rest of my life and I'd probably be good to go. I'm not gonna lie. The next one I'm going to be mentioning is the Jaclyn Hill palette from Morphe. Again, there are pops of color, but there's a lot of beautiful neutral tones, warmer tones. I could use this pretty much for any season. I could use it for fall, I could use it for winter, I could use it for just like something quick, everyday, natural. I just think it offers a lot of good selection, and the little pops of color I have dipped into before, and yeah, nothing bad to say about this palette. It's just a beautiful palette and I love all the colors that they offer, and they blend out very easy, so nothing bad to say about this palette. And the final palette that I have is an old palette palette, but I just can't seem to let it go. It is my Naked 2 palette by Urban Decay. I'm not gonna lie, this was one of my first palettes I ever got as a gift, and I just can't seem to let it go. The colors are beautiful. Again, the payoff is amazing. Each of these palettes, even though they have a lot of neutral tones in them, I find that none of them are like exactly the same as the other. Like there's always a little bit of difference of like undertone, or maybe it's like a matte or a shimmer. There's always something a little bit different. So yeah, as for eyeshadow palettes, these are the ones that I usually reach for, and the ones that I can pretty much know that is gonna give me some good payoff and have amazing color selections for me. On to the final few categories. I have setting sprays. So for me, I will usually use a water spray if I'm keeping it natural. But if I need something more heavy duty, I will go with either the Cover FX Mattifying Setting Spray, the All Nighter by Urban Decay, or one of the continuous sprays from Morphe. I find that this one just gives me this natural setting spray feel. It lasts all day. Nothing super strong with the Morphe one. The Cover FX is good if I really want to have more of a mattified skin look, but lasts all day. And then the All Nighter is like the most heavy duty one I have. This like locks in your makeup. And again, self-explanatory, sets it all day and it will not budge. Next for mascaras, I don't use too many mascaras only because my eyes are very sensitive, but I have two right here. I have one which is the CoverGirl Full Lash Bloom. I find that this separates my lashes very beautifully, doesn't clump up, and I could wear this all day and it doesn't really smudge on my eyes. And again, it doesn't make my eyes burn. That's like my main thing with mascara. Why I have such a hard time wearing mascaras is because of how sensitive my eyes are, and I find that this one does not do anything bad to my eyes at all. Other one I have is the Marcel Lengthening Volume and Definition Mascara. These wands are very thin, so very similar to the CoverGirl one. It just offers me length, volume, and I think this one gives me a little bit more volume compared to the CoverGirl one. But again, this doesn't burn my eyes, and I can wear this pretty much all day and have my lashes look nice and separated. I don't have a third option for mascara again, unfortunately, but these are my top options for mascaras as of right now. Let's jump right into the final categories, which are lips. We're gonna try and zoom right through this because there's a lot. So for lip liners, I stick to the Morphe lip liners, NYX lip liners, and to the Kylie Cosmetics lip liners. All of these have a good glide and good color payoff and doesn't make my lips feel dry at all. Out of the three, the Morphe ones are my favorite. They're affordable and offer so many colors. And yeah, these are always my go-to. So the Morphe ones would be my favorite ones for lip liner category. Next for glosses, we have e.l.f., Essence, and NYX. NYX butter glosses are like a cult favorite. So many different colors and they're affordable and they're not too sticky on the lips. e.l.f. has these glosses and these lip oils that I love. They have just enough color payoff, but again, not too sticky on the lips. And again, very affordable. And Essence, of course, as you guys all know, very affordable, but my favorite one is the clear glosses by them. It just gives this beautiful sheen on the lips and it just looks like glass. And then the last are the liquid lips. So I have the Lise Watier liquid lipstick in the shade Nude Kiss. This is my absolute favorite color, my number one favorite. Doesn't feel dry and it's my favorite liquid lipstick on the market. Then we have the e.l.f. liquid lipsticks, not too drying, have a bunch of different colors, very affordable. Love these guys. And of course, we have the NYX Lingerie liquid lipsticks. Again, a cult favorite, so many different colors, drugstore prices, and you just can't go wrong with any of these brands. I would say out of the three, the Lise Watier is the more expensive one, but I just love this color and I've never gotten so many compliments unlike when I wear this one. On a typical day out, I will go to the NYX or the e.l.f. ones, and I have a bunch of different colors in both of these brands, so yeah. Oh my gosh, finally we are done. I thought this would never end. There's just so many different categories, but yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Those were all of my top 3 items for each makeup category. If you did, give this video a thumbs up. It really does help my channel and it tells me that you guys really like the content. I also heard that if you thumbs up this video, you will win the lottery in the next week. Not my words, that's just what I heard. Anyways, I hope you guys have a good rest of your day wherever you guys are, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.